Why is it that we stay up late at night to study? Why does one get up early in the morning to make it on time to work? Why do we put in our best efforts into what we do and what we try to accomplish? It's a common theme that we all as hardworking Americans share, and it affects every one of us regardless of where we came from, what we're going through, how we may look or think. As someone who's been working for over a decade now, I understand what it's like to work from paycheck to paycheck and reach a breaking point where I realized I needed something better, to keep pushing upward and onward. I would even bet that we all strive to achieve this above all else. I used to believe there was one roadmap of making it in this country, sort of checklist. Graduate from high school, go to college, get a degree, find a career, maybe get a house and start a family, contribute to society and enjoy the finer things in life. The ultimate goal, one that anyone can achieve. But is this seductive idea really true? Can everyone experience the American dream? This vision manifested itself almost a century back, during one of the darkest periods in American history, where hope and security started to disappear, thus began to affect the hearts and minds of the nation, the Great Depression. According to Lawrence R. Samuel, best-selling author and historian James Trislow Adams published a book in 1931 titled Epic of America, which coined the term the American Dream, where Adams explains the dream as a vision of a better, deeper, richer life for every individual, regardless of position in society, a dream of a chance to rise in the economic scale, to develop our capacities to the full unhampered by unjust restrictions of caste or custom, a full and equal opportunity for every single American. Adams' idea was a boundless kind of mental spark powerful enough to influence a great change, and that it did. Together with this dream, the election of Franklin D. Roosevelt, and the economic demand of World War II, the country was set on a path to a famed road to recovery. It became one of the greatest and most memorable moments in American history, and has become a sort of ethos for this great nation. But it seems now that even this too is becoming just a part of history. To understand this better, we will need to look at what part of the American dream symbolizes: success. As stated by Adams, it's the equal opportunity available to every American to become successful. But how exactly? What is success as defined by Americans? As it would have it, success is a very subjective goal. There's a good chance that my visualization of success is different than yours. Some insight is given with this in an article done by Samantha Smith with Pew Research Center. According to Smith, when asked about the meaning of the American dream, 77% of those surveyed said freedom of choice in how to live was essential. 70% for having a good family, 60% want to retire comfortably, and others show that 48% are community driven. 43 would like to own a home, and 43 on having a successful career. It's clear that success can mean many different things from person to person, with some goals more important than others. But it is something that we are all striving for, and I think it's fair to say that we can all relate to this, and maybe see ourselves in one or more of these majorities. Going back to Adam's idea of a better, deeper, richer life for every individual regardless of your position in society, are you able to achieve subjective success no matter where you came from or how you were brought up? Turns out that one may have trouble just getting their foot in the door. Social mobility, or the change in wealth and social status of individuals and families, can pose an issue. Can one be logged into a social class unable to progress upwards? According to an article by Richard Reeves, children born into a family in the bottom fifth quintile of the income distribution have about a 4 in 10 chance of remaining in that income bracket as an adult, and a 7 in 10 chance of remaining in one of the bottom 2 quintiles. Location shows to also be a factor as well, not only affecting social mobility, but even an individual's overall well-being. In an article by Robin Mejia regarding research done by Virginia Commonwealth University, she states in their report, researchers found differences in life expectancy of more than 20 years between neighborhoods in the same county. Poverty, education, and income levels all showed huge variations. This showed that there is a clear difficulty affecting those in the lower class and may end up trapped. If there really was equal chance for us all, why does this prove to be true? How many driven individuals with this dream in mind are in this situation, unable to move out and pursue whatever it is they choose to? Really, any sort of variation among any of these core necessities can have drastically different outcomes, like how the difference a dollar can make. When Jonathan Wolf wrote about the $1.50 minimum wage increase in New York, he asked several of those affected how their quality of life changed, and received responses on how some were able to save money now, Others are finally able to buy textbooks and technology, or plenty to travel, or even buy more groceries and send more money to parents. Another example is how high school dropouts, a common issue in the lower class, not only affects these individuals' chances of finding a better job, but can also affect others with a high school diploma, GED, and higher. As stated by Russell Rumberger, low education and skill levels of dropouts threaten the future economy, which will increasingly require a more educated workforce. In the land of equal opportunity, there is a real lack of it here for these individuals, and it goes without saying that this is needing a change, not only because this affects all classes, but because despite class, everyone should have a chance to dream, a real shot to be successful no matter where you came. We can already see that this road can have its barriers, especially for those within poverty, a road riddled with potholes and roadblocks. There may even be some stoplights along the way, and as we are beginning to discover, one of these stoplights can be an individual's education level. As economist Paul Oyer states, times are good if you are college educated and working in the right industries and right locations, but the last 50 years have been terrible for people with lower skills. Currently, education has become more of a necessity when it comes to success, but the pursuit of it is one met with resistance, especially those in the lower class. It shouldn't even exist in the first place if this dream were still valid. According to an article by Andrew DeBalco, less likely to be resolved anytime soon are the pervasive problems that low-income students face, not only gaining admission to elite colleges, but in getting to and through college at all. He further argues how clear it is that opportunity has slowed or stalled, and there is reason to doubt that the United States can truly be described today as a nation of equal opportunity, where talent and effort trump poverty and prejudice. Oyer's statement shows that college does benefit those who go, at least in most cases, but the reality is that not going puts you at a disadvantage. If the American dream is really for anyone, why does it seem to benefit mainly those who are college educated rather than those who are not? Does Adams' ideas still hold up here? But despite all that, is college really necessary to achieve the dream? We've all heard some of the great success stories of those that have either dropped out or never even attended college. For example, Bill Gates, who has also been known as Harvard's most successful dropout, went on and founded Microsoft. Fellow Harvard dropout Mark Zuckerberg, who of course created Facebook. Steve Jobs, who dropped out of Reed College and went to become a co-founder and CEO of Apple. Even Oprah, who never completed her career with Tennessee State University and is now one of the most wealthiest women in the world, who, by the way, also came from poverty. This is proof that yes, it is possible, but unfortunately this seems to be a very rare occurrence, and almost one not worth the gamble to an individual who is chasing the dream. Okay, well let's just say the light turns green. We are finally able to move forward and accelerate towards higher education at a college or university, whether it be full-time or just a few classes, whether it be the new student fresh out of high school making the jump to a university, or maybe the single parent returning after a few years' absence. They make their sacrifices, some bigger than others, and are finally able to walk the stage with their degree in hand and with a school now behind them. They've made it, right? For some, possibly, but no, not equally across the board, as some of these graduates will still have some hurdles in front of them, keeping them from the ultimate goal. One of the biggest they can face right out of college is the infamous student debt. Majority of students that attend college or university frequently will need to obtain loans to meet the high rates of tuition, books, and supplies. And together across the country this amount is colossal, as according to a 2018 article by Ellen Ruppel-Shell, Americans owed more than 1.3 trillion in student loans. The cost for higher education is not cheap, and can even be a deterrent for some of those thinking about pursuing higher education. I can attest to this. One of the biggest reasons I put off school for a few years was because of the stories I would hear regarding these loans that seemingly stay with you for years. It terrified me that I would be a part of that statistic. 1.3 trillion. Just for perspective, there are roughly 328 million Americans in the US. 1.3 trillion divided equally amongst every single one of those is roughly about 4,000 each. Since there are about 19.9 million students enrolled in college in the States, if this was divided equally, this would equate to about 65,000 for each student. Now, this of course is not equally divided across the board, as tuition rates for each student are not exactly the same, but even so, that number is astounding and can affect one's pace for moving onwards. However, there is some debate regarding this. According to some, the debt owed is one that pays itself off and really should be viewed as an investment. One article by David Leonhardt states that full-time workers with a bachelor's degree makes up to 83% more than those with only a high school diploma, In another article by Lindsay Nurl with Northeastern University, those with a bachelor's will add about 1 million to their total lifetime earnings compared to those that don't, and are likely less to face unemployment. This shows that despite the high cost of tuition and other expenses needed for higher education, the financial plane not only eventually levels out, but can also move in a positive direction. Now, in spite of all this, the issue still comes back to how this seems to divide a nation of equal opportunity, and those that seek it run into difficulties along the way. What if someone cannot qualify for financial aid? What if some are unable to move out of poverty? What if someone cannot complete high school due to other personal matters, even despite their ambition? Even after they put in all this effort just to be met with resistance, then are they just stuck in a nightmarish limbo, with the ability to only view success from a distance rather than experience it themselves? Roadblocks and barriers. Just some of the problems that one can be challenged with on the road to success, to this American dream. Either way, it is apparent that something needs to be done to equal the field for all. If one were to really achieve the American dream, to be successful, it seems that college is one huge key. As Leonhardt would put it, college is a no-brainer. It is the most reliable ticket to the middle class and beyond. Now, this is not to say that the pursuit of higher education is a bad one. The real issue is that this is even an issue at all. In a country that flaunts how the American dream truly is an equal opportunity for anyone who is willing to put in the hard work, the dream is more along the lines of a fantasy, as there are many who are unable to move upwards to pursue higher education or even face what comes afterwards. Although this idea is a major and historical staple in the U.S. culture, the pursuit of it can be an elusive, devious, and lifelong hunt that can yield empty hand. If the American dream was indeed truthful, an equal opportunity for all, then success should be just as attainable and realistic to the many that do not attend, as opposed to the fewer who do.